Guys, not only are we on the road to Money in the Bank, but we are celebrating Raw's 1200th episode tonight, so stick around because you're not going to want to miss it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Guys, we do have a lot to celebrate tonight, but just a little bit of sadness to open the show. Stardust, as you may or may not know, is officially gone from the WWE, so I figured I would take this opportunity to use this theme song, one of the absolute best theme songs that you or I have ever heard, and just pay a little bit of tribute.
You know what my review of him leaving is?
What's that? Oh, so many good promos, from the Cosmic Wasteland to King Barrett, everything in between. So much good stuff. So hopefully he's on to bigger and better things, but we will miss the King of Dark Matter.
We'll miss all of him. All of his incarnations. Dashing Cody Rhodes, the mustache, Team Rhodes Scholars, the face mask, Legacy. Just, man.
God, the face mask was one of my absolute favorite gimmicks.
His weird period of time where he refused to wear knee pads and had the Triforce on his boots. Like,
Peter Avalon hated him for that.
What? No, the Triforce or for no knee pads?
For the no knee pads.
You're gonna want those knees someday, buddy.
You know? I was actually in IKEA on Saturday and saw someone wearing the Amel Stardust shirt.
Oh.
I thought that was pretty awesome. Nice. But enough of that. We are sad, but we've got a lot to be happy about, because not only is it Raw's 1200th episode, but the Architect is back, so we will get into all of that. My name is Ty Matthews. Y'all can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, at Ty Matthews PMA. We are tag teaming Raw tonight, and my partner, one of my absolute favorite people on the planet. Let's tag. Boom. My fellow straight edge wrestling enthusiast. You can find him online at Sundown Motel. This is Bill Hanstock.
What's up, everybody? It's good to be here. 2 weeks in a row. I'm taking over.
Pretty happy about it. Pretty excited.
Sad Marquia's not here this week. Happy Johnny's not here.
Always a good time without Fun Dad. Yep. We're just kidding. We love you, J-Lo.
No, yeah. J-Lo. Yeah.
J-Lo comedy, guys. Go see him tell some jokes and stuff.
You know what I love about J-Lo?
What's that?
He's real.
Damn it. Damn it. Yeah. You know what? This table might be a little cramped sometimes, but next week we will prove...
I got so much space right now.
But you know what we'll prove next week?
What's up?
That there's always room for J-Lo.
Oh,
boom,
snap.
Boom,
that's amazing.
Boom.
No, but seriously.
Credit Ralph Garman for that.
I'm usually crammed in next to Hobo. So, like, I had more room with Marquia, and now I just got, like...
You've got all this extra room for activities.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So much to talk about, guys. We start out with the return of the Architect. If you didn't see Extreme Rules last night, Seth Rollins made his glorious triumphant return, delivering a pedigree to the big dog, Roman Reigns, and firmly injecting himself back into the title picture.
He's got new merch.
Of course.
He's got the 7 seconds target. It's really cool. It's like not only does it look cool, but it's good merch. Like his hoodie is actually cool, even though it's got stuff on the back. Like it's not like a cool logo, but it's a logo that like actually tells a story. It's like new merch that tells a story, because he's like back and he's like setting his sights on people.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. And it says redesign,
rebuild, reclaim.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah.
He's the Architect. Yep. He's back to reclaim what he never lost. So he's on the mic, and of course everyone's excited to see him. We haven't seen him since November when he got hurt in Dublin. He's back 3 months early from his injury, which is absolute gnarly injury. Once JLo is back, he'll tell you the severity of it, because it should have been 9 months. He came back in 6 because he's the Architect.
Maybe he got like a John Cena blood transfusion, like a She-Hulk situation.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's what it is. He's the second in that race of superhumans that can heal that much faster.
Some of that Wolverine blood.
Exactly. He's got American grit. That's what he's got. But he's back. Of course, everyone's excited to see him. But being the Architect, being one of the most dastardly villains on the WWE roster, he has to turn that just like that. And of course he does, in beautiful fashion.
I missed, so, you know, we've got Bo Dallas isn't on TV as much anymore, so Roman Reigns has been holding down all the dampness on Raw. And Seth Rollins he just poured all those water bottles all over his head right before he came out. So like the whole opening promo, I just kept focusing on like how much water he had on like his lapels and his suit jacket, just like very damp suit.
He was a moist person.
Well, it's great because it's like normally like people like pour stuff on their heads,
sure,
and like their t-shirt soaks it up, so it's like they just got a wet t-shirt that's like absorbent, but like the suit like has like moisture wicking, so it's like just like pools like running. It was just there's your damp update.
It makes for good TV, guys.
Hashtag damp Seth.
Hashtag
he's a soggy boy. He's your weekly wet boy.
Oh no!
Yeah, sploosh.
I do not like that.
So moist.
Usually,
thanks Nathan for reminding me the word moist exists.
Usually he gets all that. He shakes all that wetness off with all that hardcore dancing.
Yeah, it's true.
No hardcore dancing on backstage or on the stage or wherever he does it. I miss hardcore dance, Seth.
Yeah, just like throwing the windmills,
I love
the
it.
hoodie flying up.
That's my favorite.
Well, the one of my favorite things of all time about Seth is when he won the title and did the
absolutely,
so
the Ultimate Warrior spin.
Yes,
the hardcore kid. He's a classic hardcore kid.
Super hardcore kid.
But he reminds everyone, he reminds the WWE Universe that they called him the weakest champion of the modern era. They booed everything he did. They hated him when he cashed in Money in the Bank. So he's not going to let them jump on his bandwagon now. He says there's only room for one person on the Seth Rollins bandwagon, and that's this dude. And I like that he said dude. For some reason, that really tickled me, the fact that he used it right there.
There's only room for one soggy boy.
So only one soggy boy.
Bottom boy rolling into town. He's a man of constant sorrow.
So good. I've been listening to a lot of Justin and Griffin McElroy podcasts recently, and I've been getting a huge kick out of just like calling people boys.
Yeah.
He's a soggy boy.
Yeah. He is. He's a nasty, dirty boy.
Oh no. So that, of course, him talking about his bandwagon, talking about how he's setting his sights on the WWE title, brings out the current champion, Roman Reigns, who successfully defended his title in quite the main event last night at Extreme Rules. I mean, just an absolute war. But before Roman Reigns can even say a word, Shane O'Mac hits the ring, and he makes the confirmed main event for Money in the Bank coming up in 4 weeks, which will see Roman Reigns defending his title against the champion that never lost, Seth Rollins.
I like that there was... I like anytime there's like no beating around the bush. It's just like comes out and like, all right, there's the match.
Exactly. He came
there
out.
Was a lot. Like there's a ton that happened tonight. And
sure.
It was just like boom, boom, boom. Like there was like no dead space in this episode of Raw, which is really rare.
Absolutely. And there's not as quick of a time period in between pay-per-views. We can actually let things breathe. But that doesn't keep them from setting the table already. I mean, we've got 5 qualifying matches for the Money in the Bank ladder match. We've already got the main event set. I mean, we are well on our way.
Oh.
I'm liking it.
It's going to be a good pay-per-view.
Absolutely. And like you said, Shane McMahon really doesn't add much else to it. Comes out, makes the main event, and they hit his cool music, and then he dances his way out. So
that's all you need.
You can't really beat that.
He's playing the hits.
Just the hits, guys. Just the hits. Like I said, we've got 5 Money in the Bank qualifiers tonight. Backstage, we join Renee Young, who is with Sheamus, who is just full of salty words for Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn hates his stupid hat. He hates the fact that he's from Canada.
Just hates it. Even
Renee goes, I'm from... He's like, shut up.
Nope, doesn't even let her show her national pride. Sheamus will meet Sami Zayn in one of those Money in the Bank qualifiers tonight, but he says that what he does to Sami Zayn will not be suitable for all ages.
He's a little confident, but you know what? He was last year's Money in the Bank winner, so you know, every right to be confident. Especially coming out of that white hot League of Nations.
Man, that was...
Well, he is Rocksteady or Bebop or whoever.
He's one of them.
He's the Rhino guy.
He's the Rhino.
He's the Rhino.
Whichever one the Rhino is.
Yeah, I think it's Rocksteady.
I think you might be right.
Because he's the guy who comes out in the end of the first stage in TMNT, the arcade game, and he's like...
There you go.
gotta do the jump kicks.
Kind of hot
then
in
he
these
like
rhinos.
blinks.
Oh, Jimbo, that is absolutely one of my favorite movie quotes to say whenever it's hot anywhere.
Wait, what?
Gets hot in these rhinos.
Ace Ventura 2.
When nature calls, guys. We're getting into some deep
Ace
cuts.
Ventura Dose.
Usually we save the deep cuts for the Lucha Underground after show. We're getting them tonight.
You get me on a show.
Jimbo's
It's
on the
nothing
ones and
but deep
twos.
cuts.
We got Bill Hanstock here. All sorts of deep cuts all across the board. But moving on to the actual qualifier.
Bring me on AFTERBUZZ shows because of my esoteric references.
Those are the best kind. We've got Sheamus taking on Sami Zayn to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. And here's the thing that I love about Sami Zayn that doesn't get a lot of credit is that he hits very, very hard. For someone whose arsenal and whose strategy is usually based on his agility and his speed, he can hit hard. Like, he came up on the indies in an era that was largely influenced by the Japanese strong style. So even though he can go out there and throw moonsaults and hurricane ranas and alitas and arm drags and what have you, he can also forearm the living hell out of you.
Yeah.
And of course, Sheamus is as hoss as it gets.
Sheamus is rad. Like, it's not like I've talked about this on AfterBuzz shows before, but like the problem with Sheamus has never been Sheamus. Sheamus is rad as hell. Like,
Sure,
he's an amazing pro wrestler, and I love his red gear and his beard makes me really uncomfortable. And
his beard was really looking
so
good,
full,
looking on point. See, I'm glad. I wasn't digging the braids because they're just a little too thin.
I liked them just because they're just instant heat.
Oh,
like,
sure.
You put your beard in braids, and everyone's like, "Oh, look at this idiot."
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
But
good, like great match and
great solid stuff.
Sheamus got too full of himself, and
God, the way that Sami Zayn's foot hit his head on that moonsault off the barricade. Like, I wasn't sure if he might have been knocked out or if he might have been busted open, because that looked like a hard hit coming down off of that moonsault.
Dude, do you know? I'm sorry, I'm getting a little off track.
Oh,
here,
no,
but that's
go
what
for
I
it.
do.
I love it.
Do you know what happened in the Fatal 4-Way that got those scratches across Cesaro's head? Because I just looked up, and all of a sudden he's like just cat scratches.
It looked like it was right after the combination German capture suplex.
Okay.
And so
someone might have landed on him or strapped him.
Yeah. I'm wondering. Here's what I'm wondering.
Yep.
Because it was, who was it? It was Miz grabbing Sammy in the capture, right?
In the exploder, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if Sammy's boot came across and
Dude,
somehow.
do you remember? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on here.
Sure.
Do you remember that? Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna think about it. You come back to me.
Now I'm
Sorry.
very curious. Please tell me the second you think of it.
Sorry.
No matter what we're talking about.
Oh no, it's Seidel. There was an ROH match where Seidel, he used to have zippers on his kick pads instead of laces.
Right,
for
right.
a very short period of time, he had zippers. And he did a top rope Rana to Christopher Daniels one time, and it sliced his whole head.
Oh,
and
no.
then like the very next like ROH event, he had like slip on.
Right. That's a good
It's
call.
just gross. He just goes for a Rana and it's like slice.
It's always the stuff you never think about.
It's always the bald dudes who get their heads cut off.
Christopher Daniels, now playing the Deacon at the Waterworld show at Universal, which is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Is he seriously?
Yeah. That's pretty dope. As
so
much as I
fun.
love Waterworld and Universal Studios and pro wrestling, like, that's a pretty dope combination.
Do you drink every time they go Marinor?
It's so good. Back to this qualifier. Sammy fires up with a big clothesline, big Michinoku driver. Eventually, Sheamus gets in control, takes his eye off the ball for just a second, gets blasted with a haluva kick for Sami Zayn to get the clean win and qualify into the Money in the Bank qualifier, or in the ladder match.
A little bit of an upset, but that's what you expect from the underdog from the underground.
There you go.
Fighting from underneath and getting a cool victory. Like I was working for Cage Setsies tonight during all of Raw, and so I was having to write up all of these results, and I started pre-writing a little bit on all of them, and I predicted all 5 correctly.
There you go. Running the board.
I liked what came out of all of these qualifiers, and they're said like they not only advanced like everyone to the Money in the Big Match, but almost all of them effectively set up the losers program going forward.
Oh, right. That's a very good point. Yeah. Absolutely. So we see Sheamus just stewing after the match. We get a good extended look at him just absolutely livid. Of course, that will tie in later on. We see Renee backstage with Apollo Crews, who is talking
Just
about...
happy to be here.
Just happy to be here, man. Just like Rocky Maivia was when he started. Just smiling and happy to be here. So I think that may need to follow a similar trajectory. He's talking about the new era, but before he can elaborate, Sheamus from behind viciously attacks him and says that if any of you new era I'm not sure what exactly he said. Any of you people that represent the new era is what he meant. I'm paraphrasing. If any of you try to rise up, I will be there to knock you down. Yeah. So we've got a nice little like new blood kind of situation.
Yeah, it's the
remember
new era,
those days.
The new era versus the established guys. So he beats down Apollo Crews and he says, no, you're not taking my place.
Nope.
New era is not taking my place. So
absolutely not.
So now Apollo Crews has to deal with getting jumped and getting beaten up before his qualifier match.
Right. How crazy is it that the guy that debuted on ECW on Sci-Fi is now like the guy that's like holding down the veteran fort?
Did Sheamus debut on ECW?
Yeah, he was an ECW guy.
That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I miss Mike Knox.
I miss Mike Adamle.
That's true. Jeff Harvey.
Making me crazy, Kofi. I think that's the second straight Adamle reference in a row. I'm happy. Yeah. We went off the air on American with the American Gladiators theme last week. Made me real happy.
Nice.
I was gonna drop an Adamle reference, but nobody would have gotten it.
Knocks out. It's the knocks out.
Yes, exactly. Oh, let's not bring that show back. Next, we've got the New Day out, who have held the titles now for 274 days. They're coming up on that record set by Paul London and Brian Kendrick, but they're out of here. Yes, it is. Thank you. There we go. Get it. See, it doesn't feel right to talk about the New Day without this song playing. You gotta get the Kofi claps going. But they're out here with a cake to celebrate 1,200 episodes. Guys, think about that. 1,200 episodes of Monday Night Raw.
It's a lot of episodes.
Over the course of just over 23 years. They say happy birthday. It's not like really a birthday. I mean, I guess by that logic, every Monday is a birthday. But technically, January 11th is Monday Night Raw's birthday for those keeping score at home.
Just for the record, just for comparison's sake, Cops has been on the air for 28 seasons. Only 969 episodes.
Really?
Yeah. Under 1,000 episodes of Cops.
See, that's...
conversely, almost 1,000 episodes of Cops.
It really just depends on your perspective.
I mean, Cops is... If you don't like Cops, I don't know what to...
Sure.
Yeah.
God, now that I think about it, that is a lot of cops.
So much cops. There's so many cops.
That's so many.
There's too many cops.
That's crazy. Just, oh man, I can't even fathom that. I can't fathom 1,000 episodes of anything but Monday Night Raw just because wrestling doesn't take, off season, that thing that you always hear. But that's crazy. That's a lot of cops, guys.
That's true.
Cops fans, tweet us. We're gonna get the Cops after show going.
Yeah, hashtag Cops. Hashtag soggy Cops.
They're such soggy boys. Yeah. The New Day, of course.
Soggy boys, soggy boys.
Oh no, I don't like it.
Hey, Cops, I've been a bad boy. I'm all soggy. Hello, Cops. Hello, 911.
The weirdest.
Things are getting way too soggy.
I don't like
this. Another point of comparison for you.
Sure.
Guess how many episodes of Days of Our Lives there have been?
Days of Our Lives? How many years? Give me how many years.
Started in 1965.
1965?
Yeah.
It's got to be more, right? Is it more?
It's so much more. Because they're 5 days a week.
Oh my God.
12,845 episodes.
12,000?
That's as of May 13th. So that's like, there's like 15 more. Yeah, 12,000 episodes. Raw, you got a ways to go.
I mean,
get into that 12K
before you hit that club.
Maybe they should just start counting every hour of Raw as a new
episode. Yeah, technically, I mean, there's Raw and then there's Raw Zone. You know how they do that whole deal.
Angie says her mom used to force her to watch Cops so she doesn't like it. Angie, was it like a scare tactic?
Yeah, like preventative?
You watch this, you're going to be a bad boy, Angie,
was she scaring you straight? Because, I mean, I guess that's fair.
Someone says Cops TV show sucked, so now that person's my arch enemy.
Yeah, maybe that person's mom just really liked Inner Circle and just really wanted to get their child well-versed in the reggae stylings.
Amazing call. Amazing call, because I didn't know I didn't know I didn't know that was the name of that.
I legitimately like that song, just as a song.
No, it's a fun song, but I didn't know that was the name of the band. I forgot that. Yeah. And I was making any Kamosi references the other day.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Here comes the hot stepper. I love it. Let's get back to the New Day, because I just realized the song is not going anymore. They acknowledge the fact that cakes are never safe at ringside.
It's true.
And we get Big E doing
That's a shoot.
That's a shoot. That's a shoot, brother.
You can't bring a cake on a wrestling program. Someone's going to get it in the face.
And I do love that they acknowledge that, and I love that they do the absolute ultimate babyface thing possible, where they're just like, oh, who's gonna get it? Is it gonna be this kid in the crowd? And any kid is just gonna lose their minds if they take a cake to the face from Big E. They're just gonna be the coolest kid in school.
Dude,
on Tuesday.
Big E threatening people with a cake is
his face killed me.
The best. That's like Big E threatening someone with a cake is my spirit animal.
We got him threatening JBL. We got him threatening Byron Saxton. I do love that Byron Saxton has just become a punching bag for everyone. I'm not sure why or where that came from, but
I don't like Byron Saxton.
I love Byron. I love me some Byron Saxton. Back in the NXT game show days, I was on Team Byron Saxton.
Oh yeah, no, I like Byron. It was great.
Absolutely. I wasn't crazy about the Saxtonation as a move, but he was a great competitor.
What was the Saxtonation?
Saxtonation was a weird. It ended up like a side effect. It ended up like a side effect.
I know what you're talking
but
about.
It was whoop, 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 and all of this weird motion before that.
Yeah, way too many theatrics.
It's super weird, super weird. In the middle of all of this cake-based shenanigans, we get the Social Outcasts, who sadly are now officially down to 3 members. Sorry to say, Adam Rose joined Stardust on the Dunzo list, if you will. So now the Social Outcasts are down to the core members of Slater, Axel, and Dallas. They viciously attack the New Day, which sets up a 6-man tag. Social Outcasts taking on the New Day.
Yep. Well, peace out, vaudevillains.
I know. Oh, of course. Thank you, Jimbo. Thank you. It was a tag team match. Thank you. Itch.
The Big Show.
And The Big Show. I love
2 big shows.
It always made me laugh. I've talked about this a lot on the show before, but I always laughed that he had very distinct readings of Big Show depending on where he was in the list.
Right.
It was either The Big Show or The Big Show. Oh, let's get some Teddy Long talk going. We'll get an official Teddy Long after show. It'll be great.
Well, just one time, Teddy Long walked past me in a press box.
Okay.
And I made eye contact with him, and he was doing his Teddy Long walk. And he just looks at me and he goes, "How's it going, player?" And then just keeps walking. I'm like,
Yes.
Oh man, it's a shoot, and it's amazing.
I mean, life is complete at that point.
For sure.
When you find out that he actually calls everyone play in real life, what more do you want?
No, it's for real.
Hashtag Peanut Head, guys. Everyone loves Peanut Head.
That's the blackout.
You know about Peanut Head, right?
Yeah.
Peanut Head. Let's take a minute to remember, he was called Peanut Head at one point in time. Not sure why. Yeah. He was called Peanut Head.
I always hated. This is one of my least favorite memories in wrestling. I believe it was Fully Loaded 98 or something like that.
Okay.
There was I think it was a European title match between Val Venus and X-Pac or X-Pac and Gangrel or something. But
sounds about right.
There was Teddy Long counted 3. It wasn't supposed to be the finish, and then he was like 3 and then 2. He was like 2, and the crowd started chanting X-Pac, or the crowd started chanting Tupac sucks. Because they thought Teddy Long looks like Tupac.
Oh no! Yeah. That's such a sad
so
memory.
Bad. It's just dumb.
Tupac
wrestling fans.
He was getting that Tupac heat.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. That's
there
true.
you go.
Yeah.
Bringing it all together.
Tupac.
Oh no! That song I've never gone so quickly from loving a song to hating it.
No. Okay. The X-Pac song is. It's phenomenal because of how bad it is, but also the second dude who says X-Pac, because it's just X-Pac, X-Pac.
So good.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It's just like a bastardization of the DX theme that I just hated. But This match doesn't go on too long. Silly me, I was thinking that after that attack, it was like the establishment of the Social Outcasts as a legitimate threat.
Yeah.
It was literally just to set up this one single match.
The cake spot.
It was the cake spot.
So people were clowning on. So, one, I got to say, best cake shot in the history of pro
they
wrestling.
blasted him.
Two, people that I was watching with were clowning on Heath Slater for getting his arms up. Because, like, you see him get hit with the cake, and then you're like, how did none of that get on his face? And I assume they hit him so hard with the cake that it just, like, it couldn't get on his face. But he put his hands up. But I was like, it was on a board.
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you put your hands up, maybe you're going to get some jerks clowning on you for putting your hands up. But if you don't put your hands up and you get a concussion from a cake...
I can see that.
Like, you're out of a job. Like, they're going to release you. Like,
I can see that.
He got a concussion from a cake. It's a cake.
I can see that legitimately busting someone's nose depending on the thickness of the board and how hard they were coming with it. Because guys that big coming at you with a cake, like...
Dude, that cake shot was amazing.
That could do
I don't
some
care
damage.
if he put his hands up. I don't care if he put a chair in front of himself.
That's
like,
fair. Putting his hands up is fair.
Amazing.
So guys, chill.
Concussions are no joke, everybody.
No.
You don't want to get a concussion from a cake, from a pie,
Nothing.
from a macaroon.
A cake cushion.
Yeah, concussion.
There you go. It's a little bit of a stretch, but I like it.
Yeah.
In the actual match itself, we get a bow train that ends up going awry. We get the Midnight Hour, which is the name of the move according to Wikipedia. They never seem to call it on TV, so I don't know where people got that name, but I like it. It's the Midnight Hour.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. And then we get the cake spot. Yeah.
Great call, Matthew, in the comments, because you would put your hands up in real life if someone was running at you with a cake.
Sure.
Be like, no,
I wouldn't want to take that.
I'll
just
eat
with
delicious
all
cake,
of my face.
but I don't want to have you throw it at me.
Exactly.
I'll eat any cake.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Right. Anyway.
You know, let's get to The Miz and Maurice. He talks about his history as a former Money in the Bank winner and speculates on who might play him in a big screen adaptation of his career. Maybe Chris Pratt. Who knows? We get some awesome Quebecois French from Maurice, which is always my favorite.
It was great. I was watching it and subtitles were on.
Okay.
And she started speaking French and it said in brackets, speaks foreign language.
Oh, I love. See, okay, I work. I work in the localization industry, so I know how that goes. Sometimes you don't have time to figure it out. I mean, it sounded very clearly French, but you know, it could be confusing to some people. They get to smooching. And of course, Cesaro will have none of it. We get the sirens. We get the sweet James Bond scope.
Get the
good stuff. I was talking yesterday that it would have been so perfect if he had his old theme song now that he's got the James Bond Tron video.
Yeah, well.
If he had, like, remember the old Malenko music that became his music?
Yeah.
That was like James Bond. That was clearly supposed to be James Bond.
I'm used to his theme now, though. I like all the scratches.
Remember
That's
when
true.
he had like Funaki's music remixed or whatever, and it was like the
No,
find that and pull it up for us.
I only remember the Malenko Bond music and now the Sirens, and like the 4 different versions of the Siren song that they went through before finally settling on one. I was watching Dean Malenko's Titantron video.
Sure.
You know,
as you do.
You know, because you guys know. You guys watch Titantron videos from 2001 or whatever. And I never noticed that the words in his Titantron were all spelling out Malenko, where it was like magnificent, arousing. And then when it got to K, it was literally just kinky. Like
what?
Like, oh, I forgot WWE went through that thing where if
Everyone had to be
if guys
sexy.
were kind of boring, then their gimmick was, oh, this guy F's like all the time. Like, remember when Lance Storm's gimmick was just he had a big wiener? Like, oh,
that wasn't a gimmick.
They might not. It might not be. They might not have. The WWE Universe. Which one's this?
This is the Funaki one?
No, this is the Malenko one. This is the Malenko song. I love it. It's great. But yeah, that was they were like, oh,
so terrible.
The WWE Universe isn't going to appreciate the prowess of Lance Storm, so like it'll be funny if we say he's got a big
no one's gonna
wiener.
take this guy seriously if they don't know that he gets down.
Gets down. Yeah. This is a dirty, dirty boy.
He does some good sex.
Oh, I vaguely remember this.
Cesaro's
This
theme.
is so weird. This sounds like it should be on the soundtrack of like Van Wilder or like
It does.
Euro Trip or something.
It sounds like just a.
It's very like early 2000s pop punk.
It sounds like a song from Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
There you go. There you go. That's a good one. That's weird. Why would anyone come out to
Before
that?
we stop talking about Dean Malenko.
Sure.
Do you remember how Dean Malenko had like the worst shirt of all time, like in the history of everything?
No.
In
What was that?
WCW? It had like his eyes. Like it just had his eyes.
Just his
on it.
actual eyes.
Yeah, like it just had his eyes, and then it said like Iceman.
I was gonna say, was there anything on the back?
Yeah.
Because I remember, the only thing I really remember from his WCW run is Chris Jericho calling him Stinko Malenko, which I got a huge kick out of.
Yeah.
And like the fact that his theme song kind of vaguely sounded like Rey Mysterio's theme song.
And that time he dressed up like Super Colo.
Yes, no, it was Cyclope, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
Cyclope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was because everyone was like, "Oh, when did Cyclope randomly get good?" And then it was Dean Malenko. Not that he's not good. No disrespect to Cyclope, if you're watching.
Yeah.
But everyone was like, "Oh, he won a match. That's weird."
It should have said the 1,000-hold stare on the back of the shirt.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I like it. But do you remember? Oh, that is a bad shirt.
Yeah, I'm showing Ty the shirt, which is great radio.
It's great. It's great radio.
It's great TV too because you can't see it.
Jimbo, if you could try to pull this up,
Yeah.
it's like it's not just his eyes, but
Yeah.
it's like a piece of paper
peeled
being peeled away.
Yeah.
So like he was hiding behind a sheet on the shirt, I guess.
Jimbo, I did a Google image search for bad Dean Malenko shirt, and it was the first like 5 results.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, his music was like weirdly ominous, which kind of made sense.
Sure.
But then also Rey Mysterio's was.
Right.
It was like dun 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 dun.
Dude, there were like 0 good WCW themes.
It's very rare.
The NWO theme.
And everything's great.
And
Raven's
Goldberg's theme.
Goldberg's was good.
And DDP's.
Ravens was always my absolute favorite. Like
Ravens
that
is
weird knockoff "Come As You Are."
Yeah, it was a knockoff Come As You Are, and then DDP's was a knockoff Smells Like Teen
Of course
And
it
there
was.
Jericho's
was a knockoff Even Flow. Yep. All right, we gotta get back
Bob
to
Mould or whatever was just like, I love Pearl Jam.
We gotta get back to Raw. I could talk about WCW theme songs for legitimately hours.
People are already angry at us, so we should just.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
It sometimes it bees that way.
Yep.
Let's get back to Money in the Bank
I'm
qualifier.
having a good time.
I'm having a fantastic time. I'm having a blasty blast. Let's get to The Miz versus Cesaro.
Yeah.
Obviously a great match. If you saw the 4-way last night, you know how hot it was. It was absolute magic. So we've got 2/4 of that, 1/2 of that, if you're into simplifying equations. Or fractions, rather, not equations. You know, math. We get Miz versus Cesaro. A lot of great stuff. That twisting springboard uppercut, which is always a thing of beauty.
Yeah, just a fun, really smart match of Miz targeting the surgically repaired shoulder.
Sure.
And pointing out that Cesaro's got that big target on him with all the KT tape and stuff. So just a fun, smart match that's great. And Cesaro, like, his arm getting damaged so that he could only do like 2 or 3 revolutions on the swing and not have the impact he normally would.
Sure.
And then finally catch Miz coming off the top with another uppercut and hit the Gotch
style neutralizer
for the win. Awesome, great stuff. And because he beat him in a singles match, he now gets a Intercontinental title match on Thursday SmackDown.
Oh, interesting. There you go. See, just like you said, sets up the Losers program. Love it. Renee Young is backstage with Seth Rollins. He says, Money in the Bank is kind of my thing. And then he is very excited to see someone. That someone is Stephanie McMahon. Goes in for a hug, goes in for the real thing. She is having none of it. Puts the brakes on. He says, oh, aren't you happy to see me? And she goes, things have changed, including our business relationship. So she gives him a firm, hearty handshake, and he walks away looking very dejected. I was like, come on. You can still hug the guy. Like, I know you're like getting along with your brother, but you're still kind of a jerk. So
for the record, this will only be Cesaro's second Money in the Bank. I believe his first appearance came back when he was Antonio Cesaro.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
My, how things have changed. No one gets to have first names, guys.
And it's so funny because like when you go back and you see old clips of him being Antonio Cesaro, it sounds and feels so weird.
Right. We're
so used to it now. It was 2013. It was the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank that Damian Sandow won.
Oh wow, okay. I don't know how that.
All right, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Damian Sandow.
It is kind of weird. It is kind of weird that we forget that Cesaro was Antonio Cesaro, and we forget that Rusev was Alexander Rusev.
Wasn't when Cesaro was doing the multiple languages gimmick? Wasn't he with Oksana?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Oksana was great.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But with her like weird like sax music.
Yeah. It's like the theme music to Silk Stalking.
That's exactly right. Oh man, if you grew up watching Raw in the mid '90s, you knew Silk Stalking.
You knew about Rhonda Shear's Up All Night. I'm so upset that there's a show called Up All Night now, and it has nothing to do with Rhonda Shear.
Oh man, that was great. And she was. That was back when like she would be the celebrity that popped up on WrestleMania.
Yeah,
it was like a big pull.
What's her name?
La Femme Nikita.
Yeah,
there you go. Pacific Blue.
And not Juliana Margulies, Cindy Margolis.
Oh yes, the most downloaded woman on the internet, right? Back when like the internet was a novel thing to say.
Yeah, Rhonda Shear's Up All Night was before the internet.
Oh yeah, pre-internet guys. Yeah. Let's get to our next qualifier. Y2J taking on Apollo Crews. Of course, a very weakened Apollo Crews, having been attacked by a very embittered Sheamus in the backstage area. We get him working some classic babyface offense, just arm drags as far as the eye can see. He's working the thumbtack wounds from Extreme Rules,
and JBL gives him props. He's like, I like that. It's a smart guy.
It's a very odd thing to work, but it's great.
Yeah.
We find out that Chris Jericho landed in almost 70 thumbtacks over the course of the Asylum match last night at Extreme Rules.
Did he land in almost 70 because they didn't want to say 69?
No, well, they said the actual number was 67.
Oh, okay.
The actual number was 67. They just rounded up to 70.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so, we get him working the tack wounds. A lot of great back and forth. We get a big enziguri from Apollo going for that big 360 powerbomb attempt. Roll through from Chris Jericho into the walls of Jericho. But Apollo Crews gets to the ropes. And there's kind of an odd moment where Jericho goes for a lion salt. Crews kips up, but then gets almost kind of a scary moment of impact. Like, that legitimately made me gasp. When he kipped up, and then when he still got hit.
That was weird.
That was an odd moment.
What do you think was supposed to happen there?
I don't know. I'm wondering.
Do you think he was supposed to just dodge with the kip up?
That's what I was thinking. I thought maybe at first that he would kip up and then catch him like in a power slam, maybe. Yeah. And then after that, I thought maybe he was just supposed to kip up out of the way.
Yeah.
But it was a weird, kind of scary moment.
Very scary.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure that during the final pin, I heard Apollo Crews say, "I'm so sorry."
Oh no, that's always sad to hear.
Yeah.
But that stuff happens. We get another Walls of Jericho attempt.
Nathan Richards says, is regarding the thumbtacks. 68, you stupid idiot.
That's fair. I could have sworn I heard 67.
Yeah, right.
I do enjoy the use of stupid idiot. I really hope they put that on a shirt.
So good, man.
It's great. You dumb idiot. Yeah. But we get a Walls of Jericho attempt into a small package, and then finally a code breaker for Chris Jericho to qualify in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So this is shaping up to be great. Already, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Chris Jericho.
Sheamus is going to definitely fight Apollo Crews maybe on the kickoff show.
But, oh, yeah, there you go.
That's definitely a program that's going to happen.
Yep, he is not happy with his new era.
If Apollo had been at full strength, who knows what could have happened.
Sure.
And Sheamus was watching backstage on the monitor. He was watching this match.
Oh, right. He does not like that new era. If this was 2001, he would hate Fred Durst. You get it? You get it? Yeah. Yes. Hat talk, guys. Mm-hmm. We're talking hats. Hat chat on AfterBuzz. Renee Young is backstage with Sheamus, tries to get his reaction to the finish of the match, and he just gives an ominous laugh and walks away. Because sometimes that speaks volumes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you're playing a villain in the new Ninja Turtles movie, you don't have to talk all the time.
Although there's like every commercial, we saw a lot of commercials for TMNT 2 tonight,
oh yeah,
but every commercial was like really prominently featuring Sheamus.
Right, exactly, of course.
Where he has his amazing joke, "I'm Finnish."
Oh man, that was a stretch. Yeah. Kathy Kelly would have loved that.
So good.
I mean, she does love that. Right. I keep talking like she's dead. She's not dead.
She's not dead.
She is, of course, very prominently featured on NXT.
We're dead to her because she doesn't return our texts or calls anymore.
Man, no, how are you gonna do us like that, Kat?
I guess. Okay.
Sure. This is getting weird. Let's get to Darren Young and Bob Backlund.
Let's get to it.
These segments are getting kind of weird.
I
didn't realize how weird they had been. I think maybe I missed a few, and then I watched this one. I was like, this is odd.
I liked Bob freaking out about Darren saying damn.
First about writing things down. Right. Like Darren Young tries to write down his advice, and
after being yelled at last week for carrying a phone around everywhere.
Exactly.
Like he can do no right for Bob Backlund.
Nope. He's taken notes, and apparently notes are for kids. Bob demands that he name all of the presidents in order. You know,
that's a classic Bob Backlund gimmick.
That's back from, like, I remember the days when he was playing chess with Jonathan Taylor Thomas at WrestleMania 11. That was classic Bobby B, as Darren Young calls him. He says, "Damn, Bobby B," and for using such profane language, he gets sentenced 100 jumping jacks,
and then 200.
And then 200
for questioning Bob Backlund.
You never question the master of the chicken wing.
So at some point, we're going to make Darren Young great again.
We're going to make him great eventually.
Yeah. Maybe he should go to Puerto Rico.
Oh, I hear it's the shining star of the Caribbean. We've got JoJo backstage with Baron Corbin. Talks about the things that he's done, about how he won his match on the pre-show of Extreme Rules. He says, "You know what? I did it because I can." Yeah. And Dolph Ziggler takes none too kindly to that and says, "You know what you can't do is beat me in a technical wrestling match."
No, he's done it.
So he challenges him to a match for next week's Raw, and it's a thing that's happening.
You know, when he signed his new contract, Dolph Ziggler stated, "You know, I will wrestle up to 2 opponents a year."
Exactly.
No more.
You can put me in as many matches that you want.
Yeah.
But
they're all going to be the same.
Only 2 people.
But I just like that. It just seems super petty of Dolph Ziggler to be like, "Yeah, sure, you punched me in the Jimmy Johns in no disqualification
in a match where it's perfectly legal."
Yeah, like. But I bet you can't beat me in a match that you've already beat me in.
All right, you've beaten me clean a bunch.
Yeah.
Bet you can't do it again.
I double dog dare you.
Hey, Baron, I'll think about it. I don't know why, it's heel-ass Ziggler once again.
Why don't you try beating me in a match can only end by Dolph Ziggler pinfall match, and then we'll see who's the better man.
That's going to be a strategy.
Dolph's talking point for like a year now has been like, "Yeah, well, you may have beaten me in every match, but you didn't steal the show."
I love that Dolph's character. Don't get me wrong. I love Dolph as a performer.
Great.
He's great.
Dolph's awesome.
But I do love that his character has just become like my nephew that can't lose at video games. Yeah. Like, I bet you can't beat me like this.
No, it's the thing like where you're playing as a kid and you're like, "Bang, I shot you." "No, you didn't. I'm wearing invisible bulletproof vest. I've got bazooka-proof armor on."
Oh, Dolph just can't take losing. Heel-ass Ziggler, as we call him around these parts.
Floor's lava for everyone but me.
That's for everyone but me. I've got lava-proof shoes.
Yeah.
So we've got Baron Corbin.
Why don't you challenge me to a curliest hair competition?
Bet you can't win that.
Blondest curly hair, man.
We just see Baron Corbin in a perm. Yeah. A blonde perm.
Oh, I want that. I need that pretty bad all of a sudden.
But yeah, so this Chapter 17 coming next week on episode 1201. You know, fans were demanding it.
More like Chapter 11.
Ooh, there you go.
That deserved a room.
That's a Kathy Kelly right there. There you go.
There it is.
Next up, we've got Big Cass, accompanied by the newly returned Enzo Amore. People are absolutely out of their gourd for Enzo, and it's awesome.
It was the best.
It was great.
It was great. He points, and everyone sort of knows what's coming. Like they're like, "Oh, is this it?"
Oh yeah.
And then Enzo comes out and has probably his biggest freak out of all time.
It was hilarious and awesome. Yeah. Like he says he didn't pay his electric bill because he got his lights knocked out. he says that he calls concussions hard sneezes and proceeds to dab in a manner that's way cooler than the Usos have ever done. Everyone loves it. Busts out the classic Zero Dimes line, which is one of my favorite Amore-isms.
It's the best.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
Just the delivery of Zero Dimes was the most frantic he's been, and it's awesome. He calls out Bub and Devin Dud, which is just also hilarious. And then, of course, they hit their classic lines. Everyone's happy. This leads right into Big Cass versus Bubba Ray, which does not last very long.
But it lasted longer than the match against Devin.
This is true. Devin did not fare too well.
Devin tried to hit Enzo in the back. He hit him in the back early, and then
clobbered him pretty hard for someone that just suffered such a severe concussion.
Yeah, then Enzo just turned it right back around on him.
And then of course Enzo served the best purpose that he always does as a projectile, and Cass just launched him into Devin. We get the big boot, we get the Empire elbow for Big Cass to pick up the win.
Do you think that they're doing the Empire elbow now instead of the East River crossing? Do you think that they're taking that away from
No, I think that might have just
two finishers.
That might have just been a purely logistical thing, that it might not have been as easy to do it to Bubba as it was to Devon. That was my first thought.
Okay.
Is like, because you have to have a finish that you could do to absolutely everyone. I'm not sure if he'd be able to do the East River crossing to, say, the Big Show, so it's nice to have a secondary that he could drop on him if the case were to arise. So, who knows? Next up, we've got...
A fan says that we're casual garbage fans who don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Yeah, whatever.
We weren't dropping deep cuts about Xbox themes or
like Duke the Dumpster Drosy
old
fans?
fully loaded matches or Funaki references.
Garbage fans. I want that to be my official title. I'm a garbage fan.
I'm a casual garbage fan.
That's fine.
Like garbage juice with a road dog.
Like I'm not all the way into garbage. I'm more like a casual garbage fan. I'm more into recycling these days, honestly.
I was going to take it another direction. I was like, I like the hits. Like, I'm only happy when it rains.
Yeah,
but like not the deep cuts.
Stupid girl.
Exactly. I'm a casual garbage fan.
I'm only happy when it rains. Is the best.
It's a great one. It's a great one. Right. Next up, we've got Ric Flair, Charlotte, and Dana Brooke in the ring, and this segment got hard to watch. Like this, it was great. Don't get me wrong, it was great. But it was like, it was tough for me to watch.
I loved this segment so much.
Did you?
I was so happy the entire time. Like, okay, I loved the Extreme Rules match between Charlotte and Natalya because it was the first, they've had a bunch of matches together, but this was the first match with Charlotte as a fully realized, super confident heel, who's not hiding behind Ric Flair, who's just doing it for herself, and she's just she's come into her own so much as a heel, and she's amazing. I love Dana Brooke. I love Dana Brooke and Charlotte together. I loved this segment so much, and I've been hating Ric Flair so much that just seeing him get his comeuppance was amazing.
Man, I don't know. I must have too much sympathy for Ric Flair because the second he started like crying, I was like, oh no! You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to get mad and elbow drop your jacket. But of course, Charlotte says that she finally has the courage to tell Ric Flair to get out of her ring. She says that you can watch me on TV like I've been watching you for the last 30 years. I mean, just really cutting a pretty scathing and awesomely scathing promo on the fact that Rick was kind of a deadbeat dad growing up. You know, wrestling was his mistress, and yeah, his family suffered for it. Yeah. And so there's a lot of pathos here, really.
A lot of people really hated the promo. A lot of people thought the segment was too long. I was just having a great time the whole time.
It was great. It was only hard for me to watch because I think it was supposed to be. Like, it really got to you. Yeah. Even if Ric Flair has been doing these awful things, watching a legend being broken down like that by his own daughter was tough. And I think that they both should be commended for that. Both Ric Flair and Charlotte should be commended for the power of this segment. But she says that my spotlight shines brighter than yours ever did. She says that she basically says that Rick is the second dirtiest player in the game, and she has no time for people that come in second.
Yeah. I'm just really happy about the end result of it. I'm happy about I'm happy about where Charlotte's at right now. That she absolutely doesn't need Ric Flair on any level, kayfabe or shoot or otherwise. And I'm really happy that now Ric Flair is not going to be part of the women's division anymore. Right. So now it's just going to just be women and and women wrestling and women interfering, and it's
right. And it makes a certain amount of sense, the fact that now that Emma is unfortunately on the shelf indefinitely, that Dana Brooke would be paired with another kind of mean girl, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's their personalities would naturally attract each other.
I hope that this is just the beginning of Charlotte assembling a storyline for Horsewomen.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because now she's got her enforcer. She's got her arm.
And yeah, Ric Flair did make that comparison. She is, like her arm. Yeah. She's the muscle. Yeah. I like it. Next,
who would be the other two people with Emma on the shelf, with Sasha like being aligned against Charlotte? Who would be your other two that you would put in the Four Horsewomen? You can drop it in the comments too, guys.
I think Alexa Bliss would be one of them for sure. She's such an absolute just nuclear level heel at this point right now.
Because just keep in mind real quick, like for the Four Horsemen, typically you have the Flair,
right,
or the singles person.
Sure.
You have the tag team and you have the enforcer.
Oh, I see. Okay. That makes sense.
Just like if you're following that template.
Right.
So like if Emma were injured, like I would definitely put Dana and Emma in as the tag team.
Sure. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now that you put it in terms of a template, God, I don't even know what kind of female tag teams could we throw in there. Are we looking at established female tag teams right now?
Just whatever you want to do, man.
I mean, I would say once.
I mean, it would be easier with established people, like main roster people that we know.
Sure. I mean, once they've got some NXT TV time under their belt, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay,
yeah, for sure,
could be a great addition.
I think it would be fun to find a way to get Paige in there.
Sure.
And maybe Tamina's coming back from her injury real soon. Not Tamina. Naomi's coming back from her injury real soon, and maybe Tamina's on her way back too. So like Naomi and Tamina would be another logical choice to go in there. Mm-hmm. It's just fun to think about. I like it. Yeah.
Maybe Alexa Bliss could be their JJ Dillon.
Maybe finally find something to do with Summer Rae because she's so talented.
She's so good. Yeah. She's absolutely good.
And Alicia Fox is around. Like there's a lot of women.
God, I hate that I forgot about Alicia Fox. She's one of my favorites.
Foxy.
Love Foxy. We've got another qualifying match. We've got Dean Ambrose taking
Nia Jax and Eva Marie. People are saying.
Oh, there you go.
That's perfect.
That would actually be perfect. We've got Dean Ambrose taking on Dolph Ziggler to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. It was solid stuff. It was solid. It's interesting to see the two of them in a match that they're not locked in a blood feud with someone. Mm-hmm. Like, it's good to see just a sporting contest as much as it can be between the Lunatic Fringe and the Show Off.
It was a really good match. Mm-hmm. And like as you would expect, just like solid wrestling and like lots of like crazy near falls.
Sure.
But just a real solid TV match.
Yeah.
And Dean going over clean with the dirty deeds.
Yeah, and we've got a simple basic finish. Dolph goes for the zigzag, Dean holds onto the ropes, hits him with dirty deeds, done and done.
Someone Nathan suggests Asuka and Sexy Star.
Interesting. All right. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Just the international horse.
I like it. Yeah. Team International.
I mean, Sexy Star's not under contract, but whatever. We'll find a way.
As long as we're fantasy booking. Hey,
for sure.
Anyone. Let's throw anyone in there.
Tessa Blanchard, though.
That's true. I mean, second generation, daughter of one of the original horsemen.
Tessa Blanchard and Rachel Ellering.
Man, when Rachel Ellering came out, I was like, hang on.
Then
Paul Ellering?
Bray and Bo Dallas's sister is
that's right.
down there too, right?
Got a lot of generational talent.
Second, third generation wrestlers.
Love it.
Fun.
We get Flair backstage, just at a loss for words. Man, rough. I know he couldn't stick around forever, but this, it hurt me.
He was gonna get sent packing someday at some point, and I thought this was like the best.
It was great. It was the timing was perfect. Execution was perfect.
Him getting beat up is a little bit too obvious,
right?
Like just him getting like destroyed.
Him getting emotionally destroyed is so much more brutal.
Dismantled on like a psychological level.
Like you've never in 30 years, 40 years, you've never seen that happen to someone like Ric Flair, and I think that makes it so much more brutal than him just bleeding all over the place. We get another word from the Shining Stars, who are back in an undisclosed location.
In front of a big flower.
Yep, big old hibiscus. And they say that they talk about their debut, and they extend an invitation for everyone to come to Puerto Rico, the Shining Star of the Caribbean.
Yep.
I loved their debut, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. It was an interesting choice to go with another, just
back to vignettes,
basic just talk about tourism somewhere.
Now my hope is that they wrestle one match and then do 2 months of vignettes and then wrestle a match and do two like.
It'd be great for It'd be great. It would remind me of when Jericho came back and he just did all of those segments where he didn't say a word. Wow, and just each one got like funnier and more infuriating. It was awesome.
It was kind of a bummer that they like changed up whatever plan that was going to be for that. But,
right.
You know, it was fun while it lasted.
Sure, absolutely. Next up, we've got AJ Styles coming out talking about his match at Extreme Rules, talking about how Roman Reigns is everything that he says he is, but he is still not phenomenal. And if it weren't for the Usos and Gallows and Anderson, he would be standing here, the World Heavyweight Champion. Of course, the Good Brothers themselves, Gallows and Anderson, don't take too kindly to that. And they come out and say, whoa, 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 whoa. If it weren't for us, you know, we've been watching your back. And they, you know, they think that he's changed. Mm-hmm. They think that
you've changed, man.
You've changed, man. I'm out of here. If this were Japan, you'd be buying us around in Roppongi.
Yeah,
I love
Roppongi?
That. Yeah, you know,
Roppongi.
Nice. It's a great district. Yeah. But there's a lot of tension there, and AJ Styles, I mean, basically gives him the breakup talk. Says that, you know what, nothing will ever change the friendship that we have, but maybe we just need to separate.
Yeah.
And Gallows is not happy with that.
Like, no.
Nope. Says that you're not going to talk to us like that. And then, I'm paraphrasing. You're not going to talk to us like that and then try to too sweet us.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. We're not brothers. We're not even friends.
You're not my real dad, AJ. You can't tell me to mow the lawn. You treat your stepmother with respect, Pantera.
I'm an adult, man. But yeah, so there's just a lot of heat here. The club has, as a trio, essentially dissolved. Mm-hmm. So leaving the spot open for another potential leader.
Were you, after this opening part, were you anticipating they would get involved in the match? Because I sure was.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. Yeah,
so
definitely.
nice misdirect there.
Good subversion of tropes.
But now they've been set up to be positioned against AJ Styles.
Of course.
Because he's not going to be in Money in the Bank. So.
Mm-hmm.
What a match that he and Kevin Owens had. Wow.
I mean, what an awesome, like, of course, it's like an indie darling dream match for Monday Night Raw. The fact that AJ Styles and Kevin Steen are main eventing Monday Night Raw.
So amazing.
And not only that, but in a qualifying match for the Money in the Bank ladder match.
And also tearing the house down.
Just absolutely tearing it up. That Springboard 450 gets more and more beautiful every time AJ does it.
And how crazy is it that, like, so AJ had some nagging injuries, and so he took like a week off to rest up for Extreme Rules. So last night he had the Extreme Rules, that crazy Extreme Rules match.
Sure.
Tonight he's getting power bombed onto stairs. Like,
yeah, at one point Kevin Owens hits a pop-up power bomb directly onto the ring steps on the outside. Let's also talk about that pump handle driver onto the knee that Kevin Owens gave Styles. Yeah. Just absolute gnarly moment of impact. Just like every bit of offense that he's got. Yeah. The cannonball looks great as always. And, I mean, as clean as it can be, of course, we did see the pop-up powerbomb onto the steps. But in the ring, AJ Styles goes for the phenomenal forearm. Kevin Owens kicks the rope, follows up with a pop-up powerbomb for the clean-ish win to qualify for Money in the Bank. Yeah, I know we were both surprised at that.
Yeah, no, totally surprised. I was definitely expecting the club to get involved, either to cost AJ the match or to beat down Owens so that AJ would get disqualified. Like, right. But I loved it. It was an amazing match. Owens in the Money in the Bank over AJ is definitely the right choice because AJ certainly doesn't need it at this point.
Right.
Owens, I would say that Owens and Ambrose have to be the front runners for winning. I think like probably Ambrose is the favorite now because you got Reigns and Rollins competing for the title. But I think that Owens would be amazing as Money in the Bank champ, and I think Ambrose would be amazing as Money in the Bank holder.
Sure,
like, would be awesome. But yeah, it's just wild what AJ is doing. Like, he's just going lights out. Like that 450 splash that you talked about. Like, man, he doesn't care about his knees at all.
Right, exactly. The distance that he gets on that is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, and to that point, if history is any indication, sometimes when clear winners have been a little too on the nose or a little too predictable, they'll switch things up. Yeah. So who knows? I mean,
but this is definitely a situation this year on Money in the Bank where the predictable winner doesn't have to be a bad thing at all.
Right, exactly. I mean, sometimes it's predictable because it makes the most sense.
Because it's going to be, with the exception of Chris Jericho, who's not going to win Money in the Bank.
Sure.
Like, it's all going to be new blood, you know, and so that's exciting. That's fun.
Absolutely, yeah. Once Zayn qualified, once Cesaro qualified, the field started getting really, really exciting. I mean, these are all people that, you know, this time a year ago weren't on the main roster or weren't really doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
So it's exciting stuff.
John Cena comes back next week.
Oh, that's right. Memorial Day, episode 1201.
Rusev and Kalisto have their rematch for the U.S. title on SmackDown.
Okay.
John Cena comes back on Monday. Then, you know, Randy Orton's probably not that far behind.
No, we got Orton in the wings. We got Bray Wyatt in the wings.
Bray Wyatt's going to come back before Orton comes back.
Yeah, yeah.
Naomi's on her way back. Sasha will hopefully be back soon, maybe.
Right. Let's hopefully put an end to this injury curse, guys. Yeah. Now that people are starting to return, let's maybe put that behind us.
Yep.
We've got 2 spots left in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Who do we think might take that?
It's hard to say, man.
Right? I mean, also we also got to think.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kalisto didn't get one after he loses his rematch to United States Championship.
Sure.
I would put Kalisto in there and or Sin Cara.
I would love to see both in there, really.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like maybe one of the Social Outcasts gets a surprise qualifier win.
Right.
There's a lot of people who could go in. Just trying to think of who wasn't used on TV this week.
Sure.
Like Corbin could get a spot. He could be the big man.
Right.
Because, you know.
Kalisto, Corbin, or Big Kaz.
Yeah,
Cass is Cass is a good shot. Good choice.
Yeah. Cass would be awesome. But you got to have one big guy in there because it's like Kane's been on like 11 of them.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Do we have any sort of timetable on Neville's return?
It's not going to be in time for Money in the Bank.
No. But
yeah, it's not going to be that far away. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah, that'll hopefully, not too far in the future.
Yeah.
So even just in the time that he's been gone, so much has happened.
I would really like to see an extended feud between Neville and Miz for the Intercontinental title.
That'd be great.
Be a lot of fun.
For sure.
Do you remember when Miz was trying to get Neville to teach him an authentic English accent so he could play James Bond?
Oh, I love it. Love Miz segments. So good.
Yeah.
So that was episode 1200, guys. That was fun stuff. A lot of stuff happening. We've got a Money in the Bank main event set up. We've got 5 people qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match. A lot of stuff happening. As you said, we've got the return of Big Match John next week. We've got a rematch for the U.S. title on SmackDown. So we hope that you'll join us next week. Marquis McCarty will be back. John LaQuasta will be back. It'll be the squad. But it's been so much fun talking about Raw with you these last couple weeks.
Thanks so much for having me, man. You want me to plug my stuff?
Absolutely. Please plug your stuff. Guys, go read his coverage. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Sundown Motel. That's where I make all my bad jokes. And you can check out my wrestling writing at CagesideSeats.com, SBNation.com/wrestling. Check out my weekly wrestling podcast, Rudo Radio. On this week's episode, we are going to have Griffin McElroy with us talking about Extreme Rules and Raw and Ric Flair, his least favorite person in the world. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I have 4 movies out. 3 of them are on Netflix. Check out my IMDb page for more information.
There you go. As always, y'all can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, at Ty Matthews PMA, as well as various other after shows, including Houdini and Doyle tonight, Lucha Underground and American Grit on Thursdays, and starting very, very soon, American Ninja Warrior on Wednesdays. So I'm trying to take over. That's what I'm saying. You mentioned Griffin and McElroy. This is just a plug because I really love this. Go check out Monster Factory. That's a series on Polygon. It's one of my favorite things on the internet. Absolutely hilarious.
It's the funniest thing that you will watch.
It's hysterical. And it's like on paper it shouldn't be, but it's so funny.
Everyone in it looks just like Bart.
Just like Bart. You did it again, boys. This one's just like Bart. But thank you for joining us. If you're on iTunes, remember, download, rate, comment, review, subscribe. 5 stars if you're nasty. If you're on YouTube, thumbs up, comment. Find us on Twitter. Find us on Instagram. Let's talk wrestling. But until next week, guys, peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.